This is amazing, right? How many people here I need to think about it? Probably all of you. You know what's funny? You know what's funny is the business owners will spend, 40 grand on a truck, 15 grand on a vacation, $300 a month eating out, $800 a month on nonsense subscriptions. But when it comes down to fixing their business financially, suddenly what? They need to think about it. It's just foolish. No, they don't. And if you actually understand sales psychology at a high level, you'll realize that I need to think about it is almost never about time. Okay? Right? It's about uncertainty. Start writing all this down. Let's have fun. These are the things we're going to cover in the video today. Uncertainty, emotional safety, lack of conviction, lack of trust, or the salesperson failing to create clarity. And accountants especially struggling with this because this is why most accountants are struggling with this. Most accountants try to use logic as they sell. In capital letters, logic. Okay, look, human beings buy emotionally first and then justify logically second. I know that's probably so hard for you to believe as an accountant, but no, it's true. And today I'm going to teach you the real psychology behind I need to think about it. And once you understand this, you'll never hear objections the same way again. It's all about getting down to the core and the why they would actually use the services. So, Module 1, grab the pencil and paper. Let's start rolling and rocking. Rocking and rolling and rocking. Bam! All right, write it down. People do not think about things they feel uncertain about. Let's establish the truth first. People do not think about things they feel emotionally certain about. Nobody says, let me think about whether I should have my child from danger. Okay, save my child from danger. Nobody thinks about that. All right, nobody says, let me think about whether I should cash $1 million check. Nobody says, let me think about whether I should stop my business from collapsing. When emotional certainty is high, decision speed increases, okay? When certainty is low, people stall. So when you hear a business owner say, I need to think about it, what they're really saying is, I'm uncertain, I don't fully trust this, I don't see enough value yet, I'm emotionally uncomfortable, I'm afraid with making the wrong decision. That's what's actually happening. And the weak salespeople take the objection literally, okay? Most salespeople, I'd say. Elite salespeople diagnose the emotion underneath the objection, which is a massive difference. Let's move to Module 2. Accountants sell too much logic. Write it down. You're selling too much logic. Way too logically. This is where accountants lose people consistently. They overload prospects with features, certifications, dashboards, reports, technical explanations, compliance talk, all that tax terminology. Look, the business owner is sitting there emotionally so disconnected. They have no idea what they're talking about. If they did, truly, they would be doing it themselves. So listen carefully. The business owners do not buy bookkeeping. They buy, and write all of this down. Stop skipping things I tell you to write. Stop skipping all of it. Write everything down. Peace, control, confidence, growth, certainty, reduced stress, better decisions, more money, freedom. So look, you have to sell the value of those things. Sell the outcome of using your services. That's what they buy. A business owner doesn't wake up saying, wow, I really hope somebody reconciles my balance sheet today. Actually, they wake up saying, why does my business feel so chaotic? Where's my money going? Why am I working nonstop? Why am I still stressed even though revenue is up? How do I finally grow this thing? So all of that's emotional, but accountants often stay stuck in the information mode instead of transformation mode. And the information mode rarely closes deals. It's the transformation that does. All right, let's move to the next module, Module 3. Think about it. When you hear think about it, so the title is think about it is often a trust gap. Think about it is often a trust gap. This part is so important. Most salespeople think trust, and when I say salespeople, you are a salesperson, Mr. and Miss Accountant, okay? Get that through your thick skull. Most people, you're thinking, does the prospect like me? Who cares? That's wrong. Even if they like you or they don't like you, that's not what's closing the deal. It's trust. Do I feel safe making this decision with you? That's completely different. A business owner may like you, right, but still not trust your certainty. And certainty is actually what transfers. If you sound unsure, they become unsure. If you ramble, they become confused. If you over-explain, they start searching for problems. And if you sound needy, their guard actually goes up. Closers understand that certainty is emotional leadership. The prospect is constantly asking, subconsciously, can this person actually help me? Do they understand my problem? Have they solved this before? Do I trust their confidence? Do they sound like an expert? Or is this a sales call? Right? That's why tonality matters. That's why posture matters. That's why conviction matters. Sales is emotional transference. Okay? It's emotional transference. All right, let's go to Module 4. Module 4. We're having fun today, right? You're learning. The more you learn, the more you earn. You should know that by now. Hey, look, this module is titled The Biggest Mistake Salespeople Make. The biggest mistake salespeople make. Here's the biggest mistake salespeople make. The second they hear, I need to think about it, heck, they'll even take money off, right? But you'll start attacking the objection. That kind of behavior is not good. Now the prospect feels pressured when you do those kinds of things. So instead, just become more curious, right? I call it the 3 C's. Calm, controlled, and certain. It's not emotional. You lean in, you say, hey, look, absolutely. Usually when someone says they need to think about it, there's normally something specific causing hesitation. What's the main thing you're unsure about? That question is elite. Why? And make sure you write that down and actually say it. What's the point of watching and learning if you don't actually apply what you learn? How dumb is that, right? Look, why is that question so good? Because now you're searching for the real objection, not the surface objection. Most people hide behind that. But really, the main problem is spouse concerns, fear, lack of money, fear of change, lack of belief in themselves, right? Fear of failure, distrust, overwhelm, timing concerns, decision fatigue. There's all kinds of things that go on. And elite salespeople uncover that, and then most salespeople actually react. Most salespeople react. I actually heard it the other day. I was coaching one of my salespeople, and he said, boy, that's a lot of money to prospect. What do you think they did? They took money off. I actually couldn't believe my ears because the prospect right before that said, what did they say? They said, I'm not so sure about the program. I'm not so sure about the program or the credibility of the program, something like that. Well, that active listening is huge. So you have to uncover an active listen, and you don't take money off. You solve the darn problem. It's just common sense to me. Okay, your identity framing the task as a salesperson, and that's your biggest problem. You're literally helping someone with your services advance their business to the next level. So that's what you need to be talking about. Anyways, Module 5. This title of this module is Business Owners Buy When They See a Clear Future. That is the real game, okay? People buy when they see the future emotionally, not logically, but emotionally. Look, you must help the business owner see what life looks like after solving the problem. What changes financially for them, what changes emotionally for them, what changes operationally for them, what changes for their family, and most importantly, what changes mentally for them. Hey, if you know that your revenue's growing, but things are the same, and there's something going on. That business owner is going through a lot mentally. You got to help them. Look, human beings move toward emotional relief. So that's why future pacing and selling the transformation, selling the outcome is so important. Look, questions like what would happen if you what would happen if you finally had clarity on your numbers every month? The next one, how much would stress disappear? All right, how much would stress disappear if we solve that? Talk to me about that. What would it mean if your business finally became predictable? That would be so cool, right? Think about how powerful that question is. That's elite right there. What would it mean if your business finally became predictable? Talk to me about that. That would be so cool, man. They're going to get excited. They're going to tell you about it. Now, who's selling who, right? How would your confidence change if you actually understood your cash flow? How would your confidence change if you actually understood your cash flow? Write that down. Look, now you're selling the transformation. You're not spreadsheets, not reports, but transformation. All right. Module 6. This is titled The Highest Level of Sales. The highest level of sales is not persuasion, it's diagnose. It's leadership. It's emotional intelligence. It's helping people make decisions they already want to make but are emotionally struggling to commit to. Right? That's the difference. Order takers and elite closers. That's the difference between the two. All right? Most salespeople, most accountants, yes, you present information, handle objections, and hope people buy. Where the elite firm owners uncover emotion, create certainty, lead decisions, transfer belief, and sell transformation. It's a completely different game when you do that. And guess what? It's so much easier. It's so much easier. You're swimming up a current right now. All right? I'd like to go down the waterfall. All right, just make it so easy for yourself. One-shot people. Stop making it so hard on yourself. Just uncover their pain points, sell the transformation of those problems solved. Right? Ask good questions. So look, if you're an accountant, bookkeeper, tax preparer, advisor, and you really want to become dangerous in sales, I would say stop thinking like a technician and start trying to think like a psychologist. Look, numbers matter. But human behavior matters so much more. Once you understand the emotional side of selling, you stop hearing, I need to think about it. I don't even know the last time I've heard that, right? And you start hearing, how do we get started? So if you like the video, check us out at Universal Accounting Center. Go get one of our certifications. Also like and subscribe. This is Accountrepreneur Says, and we teach accountants how to become elite. I'll see you in the next video.